Brexit negotiation talks, described by an Irish government spokesperson as significant progress. In the last few minutes, we've been told that talks are at such a critical stage. The European Council President, Donald Tusk, has cancelled an important overseas visit. Let's talk to our Ireland correspondent, Chris Page. So what are you hearing, Chris?
Well, Victoria, the Irish Foreign Minister, Simon Coveney, has been speaking to the Irish national broadcaster, RTE, this morning, just ahead of a meeting of the Irish Cabinet in Dublin. And he said that what the Cabinet were not going to have in time for that meeting was an agreed form of words, a draft agreement that they could look at and then approve or not, as the case may be. Negotiations haven't reached that phase yet. They're still being held up over this critical issue of the border between Northern Ireland and the Irish Republic. The Irish government are pushing for a written assurance from the UK that, come what may, under any circumstances, no matter how the Brexit negotiations eventually turn out, there are not going to be any new controls on that border. So diplomats have been knocking around ideas. They've been exchanging words over the weekend. There's been some very intense work, some long hours put in. But while all sides are saying there has been progress, still no agreement on the form of words that would satisfy the Irish government that the time's right to move on to the next phase of the Brexit negotiations.
Right, and are we expecting that? Are we expecting that agreement today? We had the political editor of the Irish Independent on earlier, who said senior sources were telling him that was unlikely. Quote, "We are not viewing today as a drop-dead deadline." Yes,
that would be consistent with what some Irish government officials have been saying this morning. They are aiming still for today. Simon Coveney, the Foreign Minister, has said he still thinks an agreement is possible today. But if there isn't an agreement today, that does not by any means mean that the process has reached an end game. They could keep on talking. There's a meeting of European Commissioners on Wednesday, so that could be another time where they could aim for an agreement. Ultimately, the real decision time will come at the European Summit in Brussels on the 14th and 15th of December, when the EU 27 will decide whether or not to allow the talks to move on to the next phase. So if there is no agreement today, then the Irish government still think talking will continue, and it doesn't mean that the whole process is in big trouble.
Cheers, Chris. Thank you.